Let's continue playing Master of Orion. When we last left off, things had taken a bit of a turn for the worse. We have lost the Ajax system, and I'm not 100% sure we're going to be able to take it back. The only saving grace, really, it's 17 Hydra class ships, which are essentially, really, the same as our destroyers, except with fewer hit points, which is the one edge we do have against them. I have taken it upon myself then to design a new ship, the Destroyer 4.5. Now as you can see, stat-wise, it's actually not too much better. It's got an additional shield, but its actual defense values are lower. However, to balance this out, I've got rid of the heavy laser Hyper 5 rockets, and instead given it a lot of guns. This thing's going to come now with 9 guns. I've also upgraded the fighters slightly, so they have a shield. But other than that, that's really just replaced all of them, which now need to be rebuilt, which I think is what is going to happen here, and probably here, except that's not actually very good anyway. Cool. First, we'll now start building a load of fighter 5s. We basically want to build a massive force on Mentor, and then we're going all out on Ajax. All out. So even though I sent all of these ships up there, they're actually going back to Mentor. This fleet is going to hold steady there. The Axis system needs to defend itself. Now planetary shields are going up on all worlds, which is in a way a bit odd, but we now have the Ajax system again here. Since we know that our troops are better in combat, that's actually not a bad grab, so I'm going to put 35 people from Mentor and actually send them across, along with a destroyer, just to be sure. In the meantime, though, we are now pretty much setting up there. Multiple frigates, they can stay there. Destroyer 4.5s are coming online soon. Gara has reached its industry maximum, and something happened over here. Oh yeah, they're coming in. Though I don't think they're coming in for this place, strangely. That'll arrive in 2 turns, that'll arrive in 2 turns. The frigate's really just there as a sort of scout. A load of fighters can head off to the Axis system in case they're needed. There's a Valkyrie in orbit, and I've got a feeling that's one of their super ships, ones we don't have, which it's probably been building for quite a while. In the meantime, all of that, might as well head over. Not sure how useful it's going to be, but we're going to have to see if we can defend that place. In the meantime, I've got a feeling that Voltanis is actually in a bit of trouble. 4 turns away from that. They have one of them in orbit. I could do with some fighters. Someone's attack Sakkras. Yeah, I thought they did that. Right, retreat them. Retreat them. Which means those colonies I've sent out there are going to their deaths. Unless they choose to leave. But, nah, that's a problem. Alright, Mentor keep going and building more of those. Cool, first we'll send some more fighters over. Send some to Nizza. We need to build as many, basically, cruiser-type ships as we can get away with now. I still built Destroyer 4. I didn't know I was still building those. I should probably switch to 4.5. They're slightly quicker to build, but at a cost of being slightly, well, arguably a bit weaker. So Gora's now our tech world, although actually if I sort that back around, that can build them in... No, we need some tech worlds. Nope, don't do that. It needs some tech worlds, so we'll keep that as it is. Meanwhile, Voltanis is about to be under attack. See what happens. The Alkari attack. That's also for the moment. We have a lot of ships. And of course we have missiles and things from the planet. The fighters are dealt with. Keep going. And this might not work here, but if we can get rid of those. We need those graviton beams. Alright, here we go. Yep, have them surrounded, they flee. Improved space scanner. We can now detect enemy ships 7 away, 2 parts away, and we can now check their destinations. Mark III battle computer might be useful. We'll go with that. So, do we want to bomb the Sakkra colony? 35 troop transports en route. 35 out of 35. We're outnumbered, but we know our troops are better. Are they good enough to take the planet back? Just. Ajax is reconquered. But there's troops inbound. Now this is useful because now we can see exactly what people are up to. Unfortunately, I kind of wish they'd have stayed there now. They can be there in, that can be there in 2 turns, but by 2 turns it could be too late. Head over to Nizza. They can stay there. They're stopping still. They're on their way back to regroup with the massive fleet they've got there in Asla. That is their homeworld, so that's kind of expected, but we really, really need to upgrade our fleet and tech, and shields would be helpful. Ultimately, Ajax has now become a useless planet, really. The war has cost us. He's not going to accept a peace treaty now that we've got an edge on him. We have 5 spies hidden in his territory. We're going sabotage now. Nizza needs to continue producing 4.5s as quickly as it can, get away with them. Mentar the same, and Doria is fine. Ajax really has not got anything that it can do here. Shields, things. More fighters are being produced here. No, stay where they are. Alright. Kulfos, head over to Ajax, bring some support in. In the meantime, move up to Frigate 4s, which we might be upgrading soon. In 3 turns that fleet arrives. In the meantime, let's hope it's good enough. 1 ship. No, they decided to flee from that. That's fair enough. Oh, thank you. Okay, we now have a temporary peace with them, which we're going to use like mad. Pretty much our now objective is to maneuver everything, and I mean everything, down here, and we're going to take out the Alkari. Altair is the only planet left. They have a warbird in orbit, but their fleet is quite weak. So where do we have those bombers? I do have some of them somewhere. Oh, did I? No, I scrapped the bombers, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Alright, Axis can keep its troops going on there. Mintar's now going to go half and half because I need tech. Kulfus is going to go back to being a tech world. Clean. The other advantage of this, of course, is that it does allow us to up our planetary shields slightly and bring some defense online. We now know that Gora is finished as a world here, so it can now go back to tech, producing a few tech points and things. Christen can move. I don't know what this is actually doing, really. It seems like an all over the place world. Ecology, fine. Max its tech out. Get the shielding done. There we go. Then down here, the Spiker world is still producing ridiculous amounts of things. That'll do five a turn. And so they are restless, but we have done things. So we're going to hide spies and keep producing them, because they are a great enemy at this stage. So we can drop that down. We can then go here. Overall, we cut our planetary resources with this regard, so that's fine. Status, technology needs advancing, fleet strength needs advancing, production needs advancing, but we have additional worlds. We just need to be aware that they are going to come back like an absolute hammer later on in the game. Alkari has actually finished quite a lot of its thing. It's actually maxed out its planetary size, so we're going to send half of its people over, and that should hopefully revitalize that world faster. Keep the population increase up. That's fine. That's fine. Gonna be slower, but does need to be done. Alright, who's producing fighters at the moment? Polis is, which is okay. I think Polis now can go back to doing what it was doing. Producing shields. Actually producing tech. We want tech points now. We have 747 in reserve. You can do whatever you were doing. Mintar can cut some of its things back for technology while still producing additional fleet. And that's okay. Here comes the next wave. Oh no, they're actually in retreat. So we have a few things already set up there. We're going to wait for the rest of the fleet to arrive. Once it's there, we continue on as we are doing. Fleet production really quite small. Alright, you've now produced your maximum factories, so that's increased to tech and ship production. Start producing some bombers. In fact, Voltanis can start producing bombers as well, actually. Yeah, 2. Well, no, we're taking them out. I've got no feeling that the Mechlers are actually going to try and beat us to it, but I don't mind that too much. They are our allies for now. What's going on here then? Cut that. There. Technology is important. Bombers built. Destroyers built. 3 turns then. And they look in trouble. Might be worth having a go now, you know. 2 turns. Now we do have a non-aggression pact against the Mechlas, and this is not allied with our systems, so hopefully they'll be okay with that. They're going to transfer to Altair. Can't do that until we've explored it. Right, Bomber can head over. Mechla has continued to build things. We have industry being done there. Alright, so that's their transport ship. They've already sent in things to try and deal with, finish them off really. Oh dear. Well, you're dead. But feel free to do whatever you feel like. You know what? That's actually holding off better than I thought they would. But then the 12 bases here do kind of help. I guess we lost one of them. Keep going. I think we got the Omega bombs. So, from a design point of view, we now have graviton beams, which I believe we now means we want to upgrade our fleet again to the point where we can now have them. So, armor goes up to delivery 2, graviton beams, enhanced shield, and that will probably do. Although we'll have a laser on because why not? So our new frigate 5s are online, or will be online soon. That kind of was a bit of a disaster, really. However, they're going to restock. We weakened their resolve slightly. We should have really waited. We pretty much wiped out their entirety of their fleet, though, as a sort of trade-off, but it hurt us a lot more than it hurt them. Well, we now need to basically restock our entire fleet as much as possible. The Destroyer 4s, I think we can cancel out entirely. So scrap the Destroyer 4s, we'll keep the Missile 4s around. And then we're going to scrap the Frigate 4s. We're then going to design this new ship, which is actually, can we do anything else other than that? Alright, cut all that. This is we're already at top. Okay, no worries there then. So class 2, and for the sake of it, have another laser. So this is now Frigate 5. And then finally, we want a large ship of the same design, really. Only we want multiple graviton beams. We want the increased maneuverability. We don't necessarily want a normal laser there. We want neutron pellet guns. I could do 2 of those and Gatling laser maybe. So 4 times 10. I'm starting to think the Gatling lasers aren't really worth it, but having the missile defenses might be. There. What could we have? No, we have 4 neutron pellet guns. The size of that, though... No, we can't have 4. It's the only thing I'm really looking at seeing if we can do. But now it's the +2 maneuverability, which would be quite useful, versus having 4 Gatling lasers on top of this. See, it does have its sort of advantages, this. Well, we'll queue it up like this at the moment. Destroyer 5. So, we want Ajax to build... We still have the 4.5s, of course, but we want to trade those off to Frigate 5s and Destroyer 5s. Axis can do whatever it wants. You can now upgrade to Frigate 5s, but don't build them just yet. Dennis. So it's not a bad turn, actually, to do that. But instead you can build Frigate 5s. You move up to Destroyer 5s. And you move up to Destroyer 5s. Go right back here, since it can do weird things at the moment. Can build a load of frigates. And that can continue to build planetary defences, because we probably could do with investing in a few of them. And you're a bit weak to do a lot for us at the moment. Right. So back to 3 factories a turn, lock, and we can't increase the population any faster than what we're doing. Right, so let's think about this. Let's transfer over to there the sum of 305. And then let's transfer to here. Now 411. And now that this world's actually starting to get the sort of stage where it can actually do things, let's go and add another 170 to that just to double it. Paranar's the only other world really doing that, and it's doing quite a few things. So we shall transfer 200 or so to that. And then transfer another 70 odd to that. Just to speed things along a bit. So we need our fleet to come back as quickly as possible. Clifford has finished building planetary shields. Volatanis has finished building a planetary shield. Excellent. So that's fine. It's producing 2 frigates. And now has should have some reasonable defences now. As you can see, planetary shield. Which definitely has a few advantages, I'm sure. Alright, frigate moves to there, destroyer moves to there. Then we'll see whether the mech Claram get to take them out or not. To be honest, I prefer to do it myself, but I will accept if I don't get to finish them off. So that's now there. I'm going to tie those fleets up at the Axis system, even though really the Axis system doesn't have a lot. Next turn. High Council is convened to elect 1 leader. So the Sakkras versus us. Okay, Cylons are voted for, the Mechlas abstain. Strangely, we've lost a vote here. But now we are 16 out of 29. So we basically need 30 out of... well, 20 out of 30. We're actually a lot closer than we seem to getting that, so... okay then, frigate moves to Voltanis. Altair remains. Do we send in the bombers and just try and completely destroy them? Yes. Why not? That sounds like a reasonable choice to make at this stage. Tech-wise, we're producing over 1,000 research points a turn. Weapons, we're heading for the Omega Bomb. Let's cut that down a bit and try and go back for planetology. Just a bit more. Because our weapons construction is a lot higher than most of our other stuff. And if we can get to Zortium armor, that would be a huge edge for the next wave of combat, because it will happen. Also, I have noticed that our friends in the red appear to have found a way past the obstacle that was blocking them. And the Altair now have another warbird in orbit, but we do have some missile ships and some frigates inbound as well. Actually, they have a lot. Alright, full retreat. So 12 defensive bases that are the problem. Alright, so now you've done that, our research improves again. Yeah, we're just going to have to start massively spamming our research a bit. Send the destroyer down to Voltanis. Once we hit a certain point, we'll be able to just overwhelm them. Alright, so we have 4 destroy 4.5s in play. We have 2 missile 4s in play. Almost tempted to scrap those, except for the only things down there. We don't need this really anymore, especially as the Destroyer 5 is strangely cheaper. So we'll decommission them. Reason I want to decommission it is because we want a huge ship now. So this will have the add 2 to maneuverability. This will have the massive jammer. And it will have 6 graviton beams. And what else can we have here? So let's put it to 5 for now, because that allows it to then yes, 1 to 15 per hit is quite good. Problem is, most of its stuff is only range 1. That gives it some range 7 shots. In fact, cutting the Gatling lasers down would give it another set of them. It has 1530 hit points at the moment, and if we downgrade that to that, eight. This is what I mean, just the disadvantage in hit points, but made up by the fact that it's got loads of missiles it's gonna, well, rockets it's gonna fire. In fact, if we switch that to heavy laser, switch the Gatlings out for the Hyper 5 rockets. Thinking about power and damage here. So the Hyper 5s do 5 damage. They do 6. It is probably about as armoured as a tank as I can make things. But 18 graviton beams. Up the heavy lasers to 12 and up the pellet guns to 12. Right, so this is now battleships. Yeah, okay, battleships. Which we're now going to have Mentor make one. Because, why not? Why not indeed have a go at this? It'll take a ridiculous amount of time, but because I have such a ridiculous amount of time, I can go and add 992 points to it this turn. Alright, most of those will be wasted, but let's cut down there, increase its population to max. We are now quite well set up there for getting that done. Sakkra steals plans for personal deflector shields. Mintara has reached maximum population. Excellent. And the silicoids have now expanded out. Okay, fair enough. They are our allies, of course, but it's still a little worrying. Seven turns. Might need those shields soon. I'd love to know where you're going. Okay, they're basically now just going to... Okay, and they're going to try and take the bit of a mick here, aren't they? So I'm going to have to now defend against multiple enemies because they have the tech that allows them to go and do that. I'm sure that was out of their range, but what do I know? Oh wait, I want that battleship. Alright, next turn then. Battle Computer Mark III. Oh, I've just designed the thing. And now I've got an upgrade to armor. Robotic controls 4. Automated repair might be useful. Let's go for industrial waste reduction. Mentar now has a planetary shield. This battleship I was talking about earlier. We're now replacing it to Zortium, which gives it an extra 300 hit points. So we can now go to Mark III computers. How much would we have to trim to get that to no, size 2000? No, that's a bit out of the range. But 20 graviton beams. In fact, if we were to move the battle scanner, nah, 2 guns versus being able to see what they can do. It does mean though that now I have to consider 9 turns. I have to upgrade all of our ships again. It does improve the quality of our ground troops again, though, because they're now armed in Zortium. Well, anyway, next time we deal with the fact that pretty much the enemy is starting to walk all over us a bit. But now that we have a fleet upgrade, I'm going to waste them as much as possible trying to take on Altair. Yeah, everybody's sort of ahead of me now. Well, the only people ahead of us in technology are Sakkra, really. But fleet strength needs a bit of a boost, especially as the Alkari with their small little things here are actually a bit of a threat now. Well, until next time then.